everybody is all concerned right now about the wonderful showmanship that's going on Capitol Hill right now regarding who's going to be the new Speaker of the GOP House.
Newsflash.
As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't matter. But I'll tell you what does matter.
Doesn't matter.
Political theater of the worst kind is never good, especially when it comes from somebody that I personally like very much. Jen obviously was part of a progressive political slate with Cori Bush.
I do like Cori very much.
And here's the issue that I have. So for a lot of people that know, obviously right now, there is talk. It's not a guarantee, but there is a very real possibility. And of course, everything comes back to Florida, as it always does.
Florida.
So the congressman who is to our west, literally, who borders on our west, off of Interstate, bless you, off of Interstate 75.
Where's he, Naples?
Byron Donalds.
Okay.
He's been in Congress for only his second term. Now, he is somebody who was on the Trump train from the very beginning, and somebody who,
Trump train.
He's no different than any standard operating procedure Republican. He's not bad. He's not good. He's what he is. And so his name has been floated as a potential alternative to Kevin McCarthy as the Speaker of the House.
Now, why would that be?
Because they could argue the inmates are running the asylum. They could argue that the argument, and again, we're going to have the leader of the New York State Republicans, the young New York State Republicans, Gavin Mario Wax. He is going to be one of our guests on Monday, so you definitely want to tune in for that.
We're talking to the young Republicans.
So we need to have an understanding as to exactly what it is, because a lot of the young Republicans in particular are the ones who are aggressively trying to make sure that Kevin McCarthy does not become the Speaker again. So what is the purpose behind that? Why?
What is their motive?
Don't really know, but we'll certainly hear more about that. Now, what is more important
I'm waiting
to me,
with bated breath. Sorry.
What is more important to me is the fact that Cori Bush, who went to Congress as a trailblazer, more so than probably anybody else, decided that she wanted to throw in her 2 cents regarding this whole identity politics charade. So she puts out a tweet this afternoon to the effect of, for what it's worth, Byron Donalds is not a historic candidate for Speaker. He is a prop. Despite being black, he supports a policy agenda intent on upholding and perpetuating white supremacy. His name being in the mix is not progress. It's pathetic.
Nice.
And neither is Hakeem Jeffries.
Okay, that's true. But that was a good burn.
It is a good burn.
It was nice.
But what I think a lot of people are just tired of is this idea of, okay, fine, if you want to burn, make sure you're burning both sides of the midnight oil. Because if you're only going to burn one side.
That doesn't make sense. Both sides of the candle.
The candle?
Yeah, you don't burn.
So burn both sides of the candle, because both sides of the candle suck. Hakeem Jeffries has made it his mission in life to crush progressives at every turn. At every turn.
And yet these people all voted for him.
You didn't even put up a challenge.
But the thing is that's so interesting is that they would even really be having anybody anyway, since they're no longer the majority party.
You can make the argument that, okay, well, we were obviously going to just, Hakeem is going to get it because we're not going to be in power anyway, and this is more symbolic than anything else. All right, yeah, but then you're going to have the next vote that's going to come up. There wasn't any attempt to even put up a fight. Now, you want to say that, let's say in 24 or more likely 26, if the opportunity is there where Hakeem ultimately has the opportunity to become the Speaker of the House, that somebody will challenge him at that time. Okay, well, then don't you think maybe there should be an indication that there's going to be a fight?
So you're basically having a hot take about Cori for not calling out Hakeem Jeffries.
I just think the take is only seeing one side of the coin.
Okay.
Because you're going to argue that it's historic that Hakeem Jeffries would become the first black Speaker of the House when and if that time would ultimately happen.
Okay. Oh, they would scream that from the rooftops.
But if the policies that are going to be enacted as the Speaker of the House under Hakeem Jeffries, who's as in bed with Wall Street as any representative in this country, that's a problem.
It's a problem.
So you can't say it's this one side of the coin that, yeah, it's not good. And again, I'm no supporter of Byron Donalds, but I'm looking at it from the perspective of, when are we going to have a representative government of, by, and for the people? Because that's what matters right now. So, okay, they're going to delay this thing. And apparently in 1856, they had to whip out the history books. It took 133 days for them to pick a speaker in the backdrop of the Civil War, because everyone knew that after the Dred Scott case that we were heading in this direction. So ultimately, the heads of the Democratic Party went through this type of a charade, if you will, for 133 days, for basically a more than a quarter. They went through a third of the year. I am bringing up the parallels of force the vote metaopoly because I think force the vote is very healthy. We supported force the vote for Medicare for all at the end of 2020.
Sure.
I don't believe that just passing the buck was the right solution. And when people say we didn't have enough votes to make it so, I disagree.
And let me also say, Metalopoly, besides force the vote, I would have just said we should withhold voting for her as speaker just because
Nancy Pelosi does not represent working people.
No, she doesn't. Well, no, Nancy Pelosi represents wealthy white elitist people and corporatists and oligarchs. And so I would have withheld my vote from her because she's her. I wouldn't have had to withhold it to force the vote. I would have just not voted for her as speaker.
When you have somebody like Speaker Pelosi, who on her way out the door decided that I am not only, I'm not even going to bring the stock trading ban bill up for a vote. Let me give whoever the GOP is in charge the opportunity to, pass the baton along as far as that one's concerned. Even though Nancy Pelosi and her husband, Paul Pelosi, have become 100 millionaires through public service. So that's a big problem.
That's a problem.
And not be willing to stand up to that type of political corruption is not good. Oftentimes, when you're not cleaning out your own house, it's very hard for you to point the finger at your neighbor's house and say their house is dirty. Well, your house is dirty too.
Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.